In this lecture, we'll be taking a look at how we can create an asynchronous component using crank. So the first thing that we need to do is go inside the components directory, add a new file. Let's call it as quoteoftheday.js, and this is our component now. Inside this, we'll have to incorporate two things. The first one is the crank and then the crank DOM. So these two we will have to include over here, and once included, we'll be creating the asynchronous component by making use of an asynchronous function. So we'll say async function, and we'll have to give a name to this function. So quote of the day, and then we'll have the implementation of it. So here we'll have to go to a URL and fetch the quote of the day. One free service that we'll be making use of is over here as const res is equal to await. The await keyword needs to be there for functions which are asynchronous, so we'll say await, and then we'll make use of the fetch method, and here we'll be providing the URL from where we'll be getting our quotes. And once that's done, the next thing that we'll be receiving from here, const quote, and that will be await, then response.json. So this is the response that we'll receive, and we'll convert it to JSON format and then assign it to the variable quote. And once we have the quote, we'll render it. So we'll say return, and inside this we'll have our HTML content. So we can say quote.body, and then a link to that, and that's pretty much it. Let's save this, and we'll have to, just like greetings, we'll copy this line, go over here and use this method name, save this, and then go to index.js file, and here we'll copy this line, put it over here, quote of the day, and then we'll specify the component name QOTD, save this, and here instead of greeting we'll also include the other application quote of the day. Save it now, and let's go ahead and run it. So we'll say npm start, and here you can see it is saying regenerator runtime is not defined. So we need to fix this error, and to do that, first of all, close the application, say yes. So here we'll go and we'll say npm add, and then the name of the package that we need to install is regenerator runtime. Press enter, and once we have done that, we'll also make a small change over here. So the syntax of this would look like const QOTD is equal to async, and then we'll have the function implementation as shown. Save this now, and we also have to include it over here in the index.js, and let's go ahead and rerun it one more time. So we'll say npm start. You can see that the quotation is coming over here. Now you'll find out the attributes that this quotation service returns by visiting this URL itself. So we can just copy this URL over here. Over here we can just access this directly, and you can see quote of the day is being sent. So here you can see all the attributes that we had. For instance, the author attribute, the URL attribute, and the quote attribute, and that's what we have accessed over here, author, body, URL, to create our asynchronous component using crank.